So the first restaurant my great grandfather actually opened was Preetham, which now is about this pre-independent era before India got independence.
I think like when we talk about the Khan especially, people just feel about the glamour quotient and the kind of eyeballs they can bring to your platform or to any business that they attach themselves to. But I believe whatever I have heard is that they are very sound in business as well.
It's very difficult for me to say that this is the restaurant concept I have and let's start it. On the other hand, for me it's more like I'm finding the right place at the right price in the right location and then create a concept for it. And first day, first lecture was never build a restaurant for yourself. And that's probably the biggest mistake people do. I liked this stuff, so I'm going to make this. That's the biggest mistake a restaurateur can make, is make a restaurant for themselves. It's all about what people want rather than what you want.
So any particular advice that Gauri Khan gave you for this particular restaurant that stuck with you? Welcome back to Life Unscripted. Today I have with me Mr. Abhayraj Singh Kohli, a man who have been on a journey of subtly building mood-lifting cafes, restaurants, and ultimately building a fine dining hotspot in collaboration with Gauri Khan. He is the brains and the founder behind the restaurant Torii in Mumbai. Now, it all sounds so fancy, restaurants, glamour, influencers, a lot of spotlight. But when you begin, it's not the same. You face a lot of issues, a lot of challenges, a lot of hurdles. Things go wrong. His journey is none other than a journey of fortitude, a journey of commitment, and a journey of doing one thing in which he is damn good at. Something that carries a legacy of his forefathers and building on top of it with renowned vision and I think a zeal to excel, a zeal to go ahead, a zeal to do better. Thank you so much, Abhayraj. Thank you so much for joining with us today. Now, to begin with, as we mentioned, your forefathers started this. So, can you take us to the first restaurant or the first eatery, cafe that your family actually opened?
So the first restaurant my great grandfather actually opened was Preetham, which now is about this pre-independent era before India got independence. So it was opened by my great grandfather. It was a 10 feet by 20 feet kind of space where he used to serve lunch and dinner served at a fixed price. So at that time, I think it was about 28 rupees for 2 meals, 30 days a month.
Oh my God.
And used to be serving Punjabi food because that was not what was available around. And that's where we started from.
And where was this at?
This is the same location is there even today.
And it's still running.
It is still running.
Now, what
today,
is the meal cost?
Today from, let's say, that time maybe a 20-seater. Today, Preetham and Preetham Dhaba is 460 seats. So 460 people can sit and have their meal together at one time in this space. And an average cost would be about 750, 800 rupees a head.
So, when did you actually join into this business?
I would not be able to pick a pinpoint on what time I joined the business because it's kind of very blurry and I'll get to the bottom of that in a bit. My grandfather started getting me to work right from when I was in the 10th grade. When I graduated from 10th standard, I was not allowed to go for my 10th standard vacation. My two sisters and my mom and all went for their regular vacation to Delhi and wherever they went ahead. And I was sitting and working here at the hotel and the restaurant.
Did you ever feel like this is your calling or was it imposed?
Surprisingly, a lot of people might think this was imposed. But when I go in retrospect and think about it, I don't think so. This is what I was meant to be. This is what I wanted to do. And if you would ask me what actually got me intrigued, and the cute little stories, right? I live right above the restaurant even today. My whole family resides right above the restaurant. Even today, all of us live together. And when I used to come back from school every day, I used to cross my restaurant and go home. So passing by and getting, that time you used to not have the after dinner meals. You used to have this thing called mishri, which are small little pieces of sugar.
Yeah.
Getting that sugar high when you're a child, sitting at the bar counter and getting there used to be no Coke and stuff, right? There used to be a Limca or a Gold Spot or a Thumbs Up. and getting, the bartender over there or guy behind the bar used to give you that little bit of a soft drink in this thing called a pony tumbler, which is a little small little glass, maybe about 150 ml. I used to fill half of it so that it doesn't get shouted by my mother. Like sitting there, having that thing, coming there. Then, and we used to have this uncle of mine called Papaji used to be there, and every time I passed by the restaurant, he used to give me a chocolate. Could be a melody or something like that. And that was life. I said, "Kaam to yahi karna hai. This is what it is. This is glamour for me."
So when did you actually start? Like, what was your first task? As you said that you did not go on that particular vacation. So what was the first task that you were given? कि छुट्टी में ये करना है, गल्ले पे बैठना है.
No, there was no galla sitting. I've never sat at the counter counting money. That is something I've never done.
Okay.
I used to be standing at the reception of the hotel. I used to be sitting in the order taking room for room service. Standing at the restaurant gate, receiving guests. Just looking into things. I was not given any authority of calling shots. I was not given any authority of making decisions. I was there as a person understanding how things work. And that's where it started from.
And then you went to Cornell. Like usually when people start working and they are making some sort of money, फिर ये लगता है this is life and this is what I want to do because I'm doing my expenses and stuff. Then you went to Cornell. Was that something which your family wanted or was that a calling for yourself?
See, when you're college, right, and all your friends are going abroad to study, and some of them, most of them at that time, yes, they were going for the undergrad. And I was not allowed to go for undergrad because they thought that no, first become a little mature, grow up, and then we'll see. And I always had that thing, I need to go out, I need to probably enjoy my life. That was the situation at that time. But I was given one option. If you have to go, you have to get into the best university possible. And if you don't, you're not going. So by hook or by crook, I had to somehow manage to get admission in that college, in that particular course. And that's where then, yes, I always wanted to go and I thought it would be all fun and games, but it was a tough journey and it was a journey filled with learnings. And today I would say that how I think and the way my thought process is built and how I think or how I look at things differently is because of, not only because of the college that taught me how to do it, but also the people I met in the journey.
It's always about the people and not just the education. This is the experience
that the people around you, what they have achieved before coming there, what are they achieving today, always keeps you going.
And then you got back and you just went on a spree to launch, chic restaurants, cafes. So tell me, I think it will be best that we summarize first all the brands that you have launched so far. So take me from the first one to the current.
You want the successful or the unsuccessful or the shutdown or all?
Everyone. So even though if it's 100, pick your top one.
So the first restaurant I opened was a restaurant called Indiaki in Pune. Then there was that did really well. Made was basically the top restaurant in Pune at that time. From there, then opened a place called Bombay 72 in Juhu. Shut for certain reasons that I would not bring up. Lost all my capital there, came back to zero, and then came back to the mothership Preetham, worked over there for some time. Then with my friends started a place called PDT, which was the first upmarket cocktail, New York style cocktail bar, which also had a small little counter outside, which is called TRC, the roll company, which exists even today. After that started Grandmama's Café, MRP. Then after that, of course, there are a lot of successful restaurants, Grandmama's Café, MRP. We had Nakhra, we had a few failed ones again called Edgware Road and Porto and Poi, and now Torii.
So in all this journey, as you mentioned that, do you only want to know about the ones that are successful or the ones in which things didn't turn out as you planned? This is something which we hear a lot in the market, that restaurants usually are not profitable or more are getting shut down than the numbers that are being opened. But at the same time, you see new ones being opened and many being shut down. So from all of these up and downs of successful and unsuccessful ventures, is there a particular pattern you saw in the ones who were unsuccessful?
Actually not. There are many reasons that a restaurant could fail. Multiple of them, right? And it's very difficult to nitpick on the exact reason, but you know approximately what's happened. And it's a great learning because you're smart enough mostly, probably you're smart enough not to repeat it again. And as you grow further in this industry, you realize, and your method to your madness becomes more clear, which leads to your percentage of profitable restaurants becoming more than your unprofitable ones.
Okay. So let's consider that we are just opening a new restaurant. You just had some brilliant idea, and now you wanna place it on a pen or paper, or materialize it. How does the process go? So if you have to start a restaurant, what is the first thing that you do?
So, let me cut one step back and explain to you my thought process, right? Uh, it's very difficult for me to say that this is the restaurant concept I have and let's start it. On the other hand, for me, it's more like I'm finding the right place at the right price in the right location and then create a concept for it.
Now, what is the right place and right location? How do you
Could be very
pinpoint
different, right? A location for a Grandmama's cafe will be extremely different from a Torii
that?
or for a MRP or for a Nakhra.
So it is about the vibe that you want to create.
No, the vibe is what we create for the restaurant. Vibe is completely secondary. Your target audience, your target market, who are the people there? How will they see you? How will they reach out to you? For example, if Torii is like a ultra luxury, expensive restaurant, so how would the car come in? How will the person get out of the car? How will they enter? Will there be any disturbances?
That deep.
Absolutely. And how is there another access to the place where people who don't want to be seen can come in from somewhere else? These small things have to be looked into, as compared to a Grandmama's cafe is where the maximum number of footfalls are there. A person probably will not make a plan and say, okay, let's go out to a Grandmama's cafe, but he will make a plan to come to Torii and celebrate occasion.
And they will dress up for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there are two different reasons for people to come there. So they have to, basically adhere to those demands. You're in a mall, great. Grandma's Cafe would probably be your first choice. Yeah. Because you see, okay, it's got its brand value, etc. People are passing by, 6 restaurants are there. It's got something for everybody to walk in. Actually, but then if you open a Torii in a mall, nobody's going to go there. Nobody's going to spend 3,000 rupees a head to go into a mall and then walk into a restaurant like Torii.
Now, how much is instinct? So when you're finalizing such places, how much is instinct and how much is market logic? Like, is there a balance between them?
See, market logic is very prime, but after that there is instinct. It is instinct. Yeah. So the main thing is that logic always is the first. Brain is first and then the heart. Your heart will want to make you do a lot of things.
And also the difference between what you want to do or what you perceive or visualize about the market and the need of the market. Does it come in handy? Like, for example, if you open Torii, which is an upscale, high market restaurant, and how do you know that the market actually needs one?
This puts me back to school where I was a part of this class called restaurant development. And first day, first lecture was never build a restaurant for yourself. And that's probably the biggest mistake people do. I liked this stuff, so I'm going to make this. That's the biggest mistake a restaurateur can make, is make a restaurant for themselves. It's all about what people want rather than what you want. If I love drinking tequila, right, and so then I can say I want a tequila and mezcal bar. But will that work? Is anyone, because of these liquors so expensive, is everyone going to spend 3,000 rupees a drink and come there? How many people are like that to spend so much money and come there? And I'm reducing my target audience to so small, so tiny. But if I make a speakeasy bar which is about 15 seats, yes, probably I can do that. So every concept is the cost of the land, the rental, and the cost of the product and what you're going to be selling it for. Today I can take a place on rent for say 15 lakh rupees a month. But I can't then start serving food at 500 rupees a head.
It won't be feasible.
It won't be feasible. So all these combinations have to come together, and in the end, you have to make sure at every point of time of your restaurant development plan that you are adhering to your basics of making back the rent and some money, because that's the first thing that you need to do, that you owe yourself and probably your investors, if you have any, you need to make money for them and yourself.
Definitely. And all your restaurants have a distinct feel to it. Now, for example, if you have a particular vibe in mind which works very well with people on a certain level, you might want to replicate that. But what you have done is you have created distinct feel, and the way, like, all your restaurants will feel distinct if a person goes there for the first time. How do you manage that? Because that's a lot of creativity that goes into place for that.
See, you have teams that help you out with that, right? You have architects, you have interiors. My wife's fantastic at this job, and she helps me out with this. And she's the look and feel person, because you need that lady's touch in all your restaurants, right? That makes you feel at home. Uh, Giving you an example to these, for example, Grandmama's Cafe, right? It's a cafe. You need to have the hustle bustle. The distance between the tables and the chairs, other tables will be lesser as compared to Torii, which is ultra luxury, where the tables will be far away. The materials will be different. When you walk in, everything has to touch and feel like luxury. Visually, the people, the way they speak to you. They are more professional, as more chilled out and casual in the cafe. So it's all about what kind of restaurant are you trying to build and what atmosphere you're trying to
So
build.
it is like a puzzle that has to fit together perfectly
Absolutely.
for it to work out.
Yeah.
Now we have spoken quite a bit about Torii, and at the same time we have mentioned the feminine touch that your wives gives for all
Yeah.
the look and feel. So for Torii, you collaborated with Gauri Khan. How did that happen?
So it started with she did the interiors for Grandmama's Cafe for us, and post we said, okay, why? And Torii was already existing. We had bootstrapped Torii in the middle because it opened right in the middle of the pandemic, and we wanted to spend the least amount of money and make use of all the possible things that were available around the pandemic. Was like an international chef that we could bring in at a particular price and bring them in. So at that time we bootstrapped Torii, and then after that we sort of successful and we wanted to take it to the next level, and then she came in on board, and then we gave it that ultra glamorous upmarket look and feel, and we started it again.
I think like when we talk about the Khan, especially, people just feel about the glamour quotient, and the kind of eyeballs they can bring to your platform or to any business that they attach themselves to. But I believe, of whatever I have heard, is that they are very sound in business as well. So, any particular advice that Gauri Khan gave you for this particular restaurant that stuck with you? That okay, this is something in all my years I didn't know.
No, she bought in the absolute. She bought in the absolute glamour into the project, right? And her aesthetic sense of luxury was what makes Torii get you that exact feel of luxury when you walk in. You know, and it's not even loud luxury; it's understated luxury, and that can only come in with someone who has that taste and has that flair and seen the world and been through those experiences. And that's what she bought on the project. It worked fantastically well.
When you talk about these kind of things, you just said that customers should be heard. Was there an instance when you heard the customer and you changed those things, or maybe you acted on it, and that gave you massive results? Any particular instance that comes to your mind in any of your restaurants?
Multiple times, right? Like for example, at Torii, there was a lady who came in, and we have three stairs going up, right? And she said that I had a tough time climbing and coming down the stairs, and we put a railing there, right? There was someone who came in and said that, oh, I'm uncomfortable, I need some backrest to it. And then 15 days later, we created backrest so that people could sit more comfortable. So it's a great thing, right? We need to hear people. A lot of people will give you the right information that needs you to change for the better. You have to be acceptable to understand it and take it in the right way.
And then basically you grow steadily, like you implement and improve one thing at a time. And
Nothing and nobody is perfect. It's impossible. When you realize you're perfect, you're in the wrong place.
and what is your take on the current influencer culture behind whole F&B market? Do you think it's still worth it, or
Oh, it's great. It helps us a lot. And when you go back to olden times, right? I remember the only thing that restaurants used to promote themselves by opening the third page of newspapers and seeing where people are going out and enjoying themselves, right? And this is page 3 for you.
Yeah.
These are the people who actually create the noise and buzz. And when someone is doing it for you, you should basically hold their hand and say thank you.
And now I think all of it can only happen when you have a strong team behind, and when you have a legacy business. I mean, there is a kind of team that you inherit as well, which may or may not work with you at all times. So take me through your team management process. This is something which is very
They're
tricky.
completely different things, right? I say that I really believe that when something is working, you don't tingle with it or change it. So Preetham is run the way it is, with certain people and a certain team that does a job better than anyone you could probably hire, because they live, breathe, and that'll be the last job they retire with. I have people working there for probably 30 plus years. Uh, the last person who retired about, say, a year back, joined the job when I was born, right? So that's complete legacy. But when you're building new age businesses, you need new age thinking, you need a team around it, you need people who understand that space.
Tell me three philosophies that you have in your office in terms of your team. Like three things.
One, my door's always open. You can come in and speak to me whenever you want. Okay. Two, I don't hire experts. I hire attitude. Right.
Okay.
And a person with the best knowledge could not even be 50% as good as the person with the right attitude. So attitude is the absolute key. Perfection is great, but you also need to get the job done.
Learning animals.
Hmm?
You
Absolutely,
need to learn on the
yeah,
job. Yeah.
And mainly, it's more important to get something right every time than be the best at it.
Obviously, yes.
Right. So if today I am making a particular dish in my restaurant, or the restaurant had a great day, right? A great service. It's very important for me that great service happens every time rather than having one great day and then having two bad days.
Definitely.
So these things are really important while you are actually trying to build brands and restaurants.
Definitely. I mean, if you don't do that, then the person, if he came in today, had a great experience, next time he got a bunch of friends. So instead of losing one customer, you lost three.
So, for example, my grandfather was the one who got butter chicken to Mumbai.
Okay.
Right, and he was the guy behind the Mumbai butter chicken. And today we serve the same butter chicken all the time. It's been years. We serve the same black dal which is cooked, all night over the tandoor, and it's just the same. And it has to stay the same. And if you change it, it won't be great. Yes, probably it's not the best butter chicken or best black dal for anybody else, but for me it is, and I love it. And I think that's what this particular dish is all about, and has to be consistent.
And what do you think about all the photos? Like now there's a trend कि जो दिखता है photos में, the food is not served like that. So all this mentality, like when you zoom in on any of the websites, as you mentioned, कि अब वो as it is है, right? But it does not happen in a new restaurant because it started afresh. So all these pictures and those are taken. I accepted that it's done professionally, but that I think in the mental hype is too much. And when you go there, and I've seen that some people are यार ये तो वैसा है ही नहीं जैसा मैंने देखा था. And second, some people are not even having it, and then they're clicking photos, and after like 15-20 minutes, once it's stale, they say that it's not good. How do you tackle both of these?
There's a couple of things. As a rule in our company, we do food photography, we don't do food designing.
Okay.
Right. So a lot of restaurants, a lot of companies, they have specialists to come there to design the shoot. We don't do that. We photograph the food in the best possible way that we can.
In-house.
We'll hire somebody to do it. Yes, we will probably hire a photographer to do it because the light, a lot of nuances that we wouldn't know. But it wouldn't be something that you wouldn't be served in the dish that you're not served in. Then we're very careful about that. And whatever you say, you first eat with your eyes and then your mouth. If it doesn't look good, I'm not going to eat it. So there are multiple times when I'm sitting in a food tasting session and the food comes in and I say I'm not tasting.
And also, how about the nomenclature? So this has happened with me actually. I was at a restaurant, a 5-star restaurant, and I couldn't even read what it said. The ingredients were potatoes, onion, and all. I'm vegetarian, so I was like, I'm good. It sounds fancy. It looks good. And literally, he got me aloo ke pakode. And I was like, seriously? I thought it's something else. So the nomenclature, that got me hooked to it. So how much do you think naming your food, because wohi ek black dal, as you mentioned, I might have heard 10 or 20 different names in different restaurants for the same black dal, right?
Simplicity is the key. But again, changes from brand to brand, right? For Grandmama's Cafe, we tried our best to keep it as simple as possible. Words as simple as possible, ingredients as simple as possible, because that's a mass market product. But coming to Torii, the ingredients are such.
Yeah.
Right? It's a Japanese Asian restaurant and you have a lot of Japanese ingredients. And then we have our team members that are trained enough to explain to you every small bit and nuance on what will taste like, what will it behave like, etc. So you know exactly. if somebody is ordering something, they'll come and tell them, this will be a little sweet, because Japanese food tends to be on the sweeter side. So it's very clear where we again learn from our mistakes and teach the people, our team, that listen, you need to inform the guests beforehand so that they don't have a bad experience.
So what all you have said so far, I mean, with your team dynamics, team management, I think there is a lot of leadership skills that is required to manage so many restaurants and to think on different levels at the same time, like upscale or maybe like a cafe. If you have to summarize your leadership style, what would you say?
I would say that the restaurant business should be run first from the floor and then from your office. If I elaborate on it, uh, a restaurant should basically, at the beginning, the person who's running the ship should be at the restaurant, present there during all busy times. And once it is smooth and sailing, once everything is in place, you have someone to fill in your shoes, then you can move to the office and move on to the next one. That's very, very important.
Have you done this?
Multiple times now. If you ask me how often do I visit my restaurants, hardly, because I'm working on the next one.
So if I go to Torii sometime, the chances of finding you there is gonna be slim.
Very minimal if I'm not sitting there entertaining somebody.
Okay, so now that brings me to my next very important question. Do you think the restaurant business is an emotion or it's pure business?
A restaurant business is not as profitable as people think.
Exactly, that's why I
Right.
asked. This.
So yes, it is an emotion. It is something that you like to do because one, you need to be an extrovert. You need to love hanging with people, talking to them. Um, and once you like these particular things, right, it's a great business to be in. But if you think that I have to get up and then go out and talk to people and then spend time with them, and if that's a job for you, this is not the right business for you.
Okay, I want to mix it up completely. Now imagine that, okay, I'm from Raipur, Chhattisgarh. If I have to open a new restaurant right now and I come seeking advice from you, consider we have been friends for long. I hope this conversation makes us friends. And if I ask you that, give me 5 different suggestions and cover all 5 sectors, so probably maybe the theme of the restaurant or something on how should I go about it. That should include your leadership style should be like this, your team should be like this. This is what you should be doing. Like the first 5 key pointers for me to begin with. What would those be?
Your first advice will be, I'll immediately tell you, first work for a restaurant company, at least spend a year there, okay, and then come back. Is it something that you don't mind doing day in, day out, every day? Because a lot of people love think that it's very glamorous. Oh, he walks in, he knows everybody, etc., etc. It's a great place to be. I also want to do that. But the amount of hard work that has gone in for that person to be there is extreme. And and this conversation happens to me multiple times, and I tell people, please first go work. If you want to work for me, come. Okay, go through the grind at least for a year. See if you want it. Don't burn your money because in 6 months you'll come back and say, I'm not interested.
I have just lost it.
And when you make a restaurant, you're basically spending money on the walls. And once you are disinterested, it's not something that you can take back and put somewhere else. It's all gone. So your entire investment, the day you close the door, disappears. As you say, raddi ka bhav milega.
हाँ, खाली टेबल कुर्सी बिकेगी और
But
तो कुछ
at
होना
what
नहीं है.
price? You won't even get full price for that. Right? The electrical wires, the exhaust, the fresh air, the air conditioning, HVAC, paint, polish, marketing costs, etc. all disappears.
Now consider that I have been and burned on that grind for a year. Now still I'm confused. Clarity is something what most of us lack at all times.
Right.
And now we come to you. What would be the second thing that you say?
First, find a location. Okay, see what price you're getting it at. When you have these two constants which are not in your hand, then you plan the concept around it.
And then we can talk about the rest, like
everything, right? You have experts to hold your hand through and through. If you're building a kitchen, you have a kitchen consultant. If you for your wiring, for your electricity, you have people over there. Air conditioning, HVAC guys. You have a designer for the look and feel. Before your restaurant is ready, you have renders ready to make you see exactly what your restaurant will look like. So in these areas, mistakes are difficult to make once you know what you want, and if you go through the professional process. But if you have the wrong location at the wrong price and your wrong TA, and you want to open a restaurant which is at 500 APC and you're spending 15 lakhs rent on it, they are imminent failures. So you sort out the things which are not in your hand first.
Now, coming to one of a very important bit that I would like to explore with you. Any business runs on three basic pillars. That is, one is your employees, the other one is your investors, and the third is your customer.
Mhm.
And you got to make all three happy for you to be very happy.
Right.
If any pillar is damaged, your life is screwed. So let's begin with the employees. It is a hospitality business. It is about serving the customers. How do you make sure that your employees or the people serving the customers or dealing with the customers go above and beyond every day? As you mentioned, एक दिन अच्छा हो सकता है, दो दिन खराब है, that should not happen. We need to make it better every day.
See, initially, the first most important part in this particular question is, one is they should get their salaries on time, right? That is core, because they're working for that salary. Okay, if that's not there, the core is disappeared. Second is respect. Today you're working to feed your family, yourself, right? And if you're not respected in your own workspace, then it is a complete disaster. You will move the minute you find something better. But if you are able to inculcate that respect between the people working, and you respecting your people working with you, I would say with you, not for you, because they are working with you, right? Once you get that clarity, it's very important. Post that, yes, then you need to, again, as I mentioned earlier, you need to hire people who are basically people who are ready to have the right aptitude and attitude.
Got it.
So a person who is not a smiling face cannot work in a restaurant.
You got to be a
It's
happy
as
person.
simple as that. If you're not a happy human being, and if music doesn't go on and your feet don't start moving, you're not meant for this industry.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you got to be. So I mean, now I can relate to it. Like if I go to a restaurant and the waiter or the person serving the food is very gloomy,
Yeah.
I would not have a good time. And if the person says, "How are you today?" I mean, it's such a beautiful day. Even though I'm not paying that much attention to it, that just brightens up my time over there. Now, the second part, which is the customers, you have already mentioned that the customer should be heard.
Yeah.
They may not be right at all times. The last part, the investors. Now, this is where it gets tricky, I believe. So, for example, at a particular restaurant, you have investors with you, and maybe for a couple of weeks, you did not have enough footfall that was supposed to be. And this is a very volatile business, as you yourself have mentioned that multiple restaurants were opened by you, which did not succeed.
Yeah.
Now, for you, it's quite normal, but for investors, it's like, kya hua? So, how do you make sure to, or rather, how do you manage investor interest and investor expectations in such a volatile business?
From day one, it should be a complete reality check. You cannot mislead them and tell them, oh, you can't tell them best case scenario. You got to show them the worst case scenario. They should know that they are in for the worst case scenario, and then if the best case scenario happens, lovely, eureka. If you tell them from day one that your restaurant is going to do 5 lakh rupees every day, and this is out of the 5 lakh rupees every day, you show them that basic minimum staffing cost, basic minimum electricity cost, basic minimum stuff, and say this is how much money you will make, and your 10% will give you 5 lakh rupees a month. That will just say, oh, this is beautiful. What one? Take money for one, take money for another 10. But that's not reality, right? You got to show them reality first. Anything that happens beyond that, supernormal profit, right? If you pick up the most profitable restaurant in Mumbai and then you take it over there and then you say that this is what my restaurant is going to do, you are fooling somebody else and you're living in La La Land.
Understood. I think that's pretty deep, and I totally appreciate how blunt you have been into what goes behind building such brands. Let me tune it down and let's have some quick fire questions in which you can answer in a word or two, whatever comes to your mind. Let's make it a bit more fun. So tell me a dish that you absolutely love. It can be from any of your restaurants.
I won't say one dish, but a combination of dishes, right? Like butter chicken, black dal with a crispy butter naan, and every bite should have little bit of both in it. Right?
That's a proper Indian.
It can't be only roti and naan or only butter chicken and roti and dal, and but it has to be mixed all three together. That's my favorite dish.
So that becomes a meal now. That's not a dish.
No, but for me, it's a dish. I eat it together.
Okay. So a surreal celebrity that just came to your restaurant and you just got wowed. Okay, that person's here.
A lot of celebrities come to Torii. But when SRK comes in, the whole experience, right? For the first 15 seconds is complete silence because people are just quiet. And then you start hearing those murmurs. of conversations between them. It's so cool, and you can and every time it works the same way. And after that, just him being present there, it's just a great experience.
Got it. So one misconception that everybody has about running a restaurant business.
It's easy and it's doable and it's successful and you make lots of money.
What's your favorite playlist in any of your restaurants?
See, again, playlist in any other restaurant is it should be like, for example, Grandmama's, it should be more like old school, and in Torii it'd be more like peppy
Hip-hop,
and
yeah.
peppy, and it should like just a beat but not too loud. So it's very different again, concept to concept,
So
right?
let's change it. Let's make it your favorite playlist when you're on a drive. Now it's personal to
The
you.
funny part is I don't listen to music when I'm in the car. I'm either listening to some podcast, I'm listening to something on Audible, or just going through, doing random stuff on Instagram.
Learnings, yeah. So one particular opportunity that you feel you missed that would have done really well.
Multiple ones, yeah. A lot of restaurants come to you in part and parcel, and you think they will never work and they never do the numbers, and they probably become the highest grossing restaurant in the country. Like Bastion came to me initially, and I said, "Dadar mein kaun itna bada restaurant kholega?"
Huh.
And look at what they're doing now. Multiple things, and this is probably the most recent one.
Yeah. Which would be the next city to get that Abhayraj Kohli experience in
Delhi for sure.
Delhi for sure.
I'm already looking. I'm actually flying to Delhi again on Sunday. I was there last week, trying to finalize something. I think Gurgaon is great. It's a great space to be in, great market to be in, and I think we should be there soon.
Thank you so much, Abhayraj. I think I learned a lot about the restaurant business, and I totally respect that you specifically said that it looks easy, but it is not. And you specifically mentioned that you're gonna get burnt. So be prepared for the worst, set your expectations right. Make sure your team can perform. And the best part, the team should be happy. If you
Absolutely.
don't have a happy face, and I think it goes with the owners as well,
Yeah.
you should not be in hospitality in the first place. So thank you so much for sharing all these insights and finding time for this. I do understand that you have multiple verticals to run. So sitting down for just a chat should
Pleasure.
not be at top of your list. But thank you so much for finding the time.
Pleasure for having me.
I hope you enjoyed the conversation, and I hope the listeners today enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much. Stay tuned for more. We have many more amazing businessmen coming in on Life Unscripted to enlighten me and you.